A little bit about us, COC Network. COC Network. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to COC Network. Trying a new format here. I'm Dylan alongside Mila as always, but today we are joined by two very special guests. Geez, English. Brooks, Craig, welcome to the show. Brooks, welcome back to COC Network. Happy to have you both here. I'm going to throw it to you guys for our listeners who don't know who you are and what you guys do. Going to just go ahead and give you guys the floor here.
Lead it off, Brooks.
Yeah, so I'm Brooks Lambier. So I obviously I do scouting. I've worked in the soccer world for a while, played soccer growing up. Did soccer, was a journalism major at Michigan State. So this is my lane here with media and everything. And, you know, back in 2022, 2023, Craig asked me to join him at We Are Soccer after he started We Are Soccer in March of 2021. And listen, man, we're based here in Detroit, Michigan. We love our soccer community in Michigan. We love talking soccer. And, you know, we do a live show on Sunday nights, and yeah, we just have fun with it. So, you know.
Yeah, very nice, Brooks. Good intro there. Yeah. I'm Craig Hearn. So I started We Are Soccer, as you heard there, a couple of years, almost 5 years ago now, 5.5 years ago. It's incredible. And we just talk soccer. We love talking soccer. We talk all about soccer, youth soccer, pro soccer, you name it. We're talking about it. If there's a big story, we're into it. So I do the show every Sunday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time live. Brooks and I go live. We got a couple of other guys who join us. And I don't know what to tell you, but I've done everything in the sport there is to do. Played at a good level, collegiate, semi-pro. Played for 30 plus years. Yes, I'm old. I apologize. I've reffed, I've trained, I've coached. You name it, I've done it. So the last thing was, well, let's start a podcast / show, and here we are. So we're happy to be here. Thank you for having us, man. Can't wait to jump in and talk U.S. soccer.
Is it West Side? Is that it?
Yeah, West Side. The West Side meets the Michigan.
Yeah.
No, you guys are some of my favorite people in the industry. Obviously, very helpful to all the stuff that we do, and we love having this collaboration. So excited to have you guys on this side. Craig, I'm super excited to have you finally on the show here.
Thank you, man.
It's time to talk about the USMNT because we don't have a dedicated podcast to do that, and it's like my favorite thing in the entire world. I love the USMNT more than most people on planet Earth, maybe a little bit too much. And we talked about it on your guys' show. We needed some results, but we needed to see more overarching stuff. And I think that we should start the conversation there, because if people want to hear about the match reviews, they can go to your channel and they can check out that. But overarching, Brooks, what did you see from these two slate of games, and what made you the most excited about this USMNT team going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to watch the Ecuador game, unfortunately, because I was scouting a college match that night. But, you know, I turned on the Australia match, and listen, both teams, as, you know, we talked about, they were going to play a little different styles. You know, Ecuador is going to be a little faster, maybe, you know, a little more counterattacking. Australia typically is usually very defensive, you know, very tough and physical. And, you know, in that Australia match, I was, you know, I think I said in our podcast, you know, they're going to have to come back and win a game. You know, they're going to have to learn to deal with this if they're going to want to advance as far as they can in the 2026 World Cup. And these are the times when you got to dig down deep and work as a group and grow the camaraderie and, you know, get those results. And sure as heck, they did. They were, you know, they were down. So was it, you know, they were down and then they came back and tied it and they won. So, you know, it was a good result. Different players played. The three back is intact, and I think Dylan, you and I like that. So it was interesting how Pochettino switched it up, and I'm interested to see what happens in November when they play Paraguay and Uruguay.
Right, Craig, what did you take away from this slate?
Yeah, one of the things I loved was, listen, it's Pochettino's been in charge for a year now, right? So I think he's finally figured out who some of these players are, but he's got them to buy in. You could tell with the fight that they have actually bought in. It took a little bit longer than I think we thought it was going to take, but these two games, these players came together and they fought. And even though we drew 1-1 with Ecuador, it felt like a win because we came back and I don't want to say dominated, but we played very, very well. I was happy with overall the 2 games, the fight, players coming on, the high-fiving. It didn't look like there was individual type thing. It was more of a team. And now I think Pochettino and his staff have done it. And now it's moving forward, selecting players for positions if things happen. So one of the things that happens, we'll get into it a little bit more, I'm sure, but Christian Pulisic got injured. Now, it's not out of the realm that he's injured and can't play in World Cup 2026. Heaven forbid that happens. He's one of our best players. But if it does, Pochettino needs to know who he can slot in and how he can move things around. And I think he was able to do that with the game, especially with Australia and a couple of other positions. So overall, I was very happy with the fight. I think the results were there. The passion was there. And I really do agree with both of you. And I hate playing 3 in the back, as you know, but man, oh man, it works. And I think that's what we got to do moving forward. And I think he figured that out.
It's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen the national team run a 3 at the back and have it even look effective if we've done it. It's always been like defense stations and we're trying to see out a result. I've never seen us do it from the start. So that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Mila, we've watched pretty much both the games together. What were your takeaways from this slate?
I mean, I think you guys all nailed it kind of perfectly. That grit, that determination was definitely there, like Craig was saying. But you touched on it at the end of that. I think the options were a big thing to take away from this. Like you were saying with the Pulisic thing, he goes down at like the 30th minute, and we find a way to win that game without arguably the best player in the national team. So I think there's just a lot of options going forward, and we can adapt. I think Poch is a good coach. He knows how to adapt to situations and get the best out of young players. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, he's going to continue to have this effect on them and keep growing the squad. Hopefully we are ready for that that World Cup. And the 3-back, like you guys were talking about, I'm not a huge fan, but if it works, it works. Like we can't complain.
Yeah.
We're not some world beaters, some Galactico team. We can't just choose how we want to play. We got to do what works. So I think this is the perfect in between for what we want and what we need.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It was nice to see us play a little bully ball. In a weird way. Like I think with this new golden era of USMNT players, it's been about the skill and the flair and them being in Europe. But this was a step back in that culture thing that Pochettino's been talking about of just being like this rough and tough. We're going to punch you in the mouth and you're going to have to take it. And while we didn't necessarily dominate matches, looking back at the second viewing of the matches, we did dominate in a weird sense. And not to say that this is going to look like this every match, but these are 2 of the most informed teams in the entire world. Like 7 straight for Ecuador. They had conceded like 5 goals. And then Australia, same thing, like 8, 9 games.
11.
Was it 11?
Straight. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
so, and look, I had people in our mentions saying like, well, they're not playing their strongest sides and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's not the point. This should never be the point.
It's not. But I would have liked to see us go up against a Caicedo just because he is a world-class player.
True.
And that's what we're going to be up against in the World Cup. So I get people's people talking about that and using that as a point, but you're right. At the end of the day, like we went out there and we took care of business. So I think it shouldn't be that big of a talking point. Yeah.
I think for me, like I think Berhalter brought back a little bit of some stuff, but I think it's Pochettino's like final assessment. I don't want to say assessment, but final try to rebuild this program with a little fight in what we used to be. I mean, I know the U.S. men's national team pundits, they harp on this a lot, and I know the current guys don't love it, but that fight, that determination, that camaraderie, that brotherhood, that's what the guys like Beasley, Donovan, Howard, Brad Friedel, all those guys, through so many years, the national team was known for. We were always a tough team to play against. We maybe never necessarily led and, would win a game after scoring a goal. We'd come back and draw or come back and win. Or we make it ugly and we win 1-0 or, we beat Mexico 2-0 in Columbus or something. But, I think that's Pochettino's final, piece is to get the camaraderie and to get the fight back in all the players and playing for something bigger than, I don't want to say it was themselves, but just to recognize something that it's a bigger than what they think maybe it is. Just, and understanding the big situation of stuff that's heading into World Cup 2026. So that was important for me as well.
100%. I just looking at where this roster and where the federation was at just in June compared to right now is night and day difference. I mean, we were looking at the dark days. Like it had never been worse. And now we're looking at it as this hopefully optimistic Pochettino-led side that maybe can do something, can be a dark horse maybe. And that's positive from June till now. Like that's big progression.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we have to talk about the two. Everybody had a good camp, but there were two players in particular that had better camps than most. And we have the battle of the nines. Haji Wright and Balogun. 3 goals, all of our goals through the nines, both had very good games in separate ways. And now we have an issue on our hands. And you guys said it in your latest show. It's a good issue to have, but I'm going to pose the question: who would you prefer?
Greg, go ahead, Mr. Forward.
Yeah, so I am a center forward by trade. We never come back below the halfway line of defender, by the way, just an FYI. So listen, I don't think it's a problem. I really don't, because it depends on who you want in the game. I think both offer different things. And I do want to say that there's a place in there for, a Sargent or a Pepe, those type of guys as well. Depends who we're playing against. If we're playing against in Australia, if we're playing against, I don't even know who. Yeah, I'm going to start Haji Wright. Or at the end of the domestic seasons in May, maybe Haji Wright's cooled off. He's having a heck of a season already for Coventry, but maybe he's cooled off. Maybe it's been a long season, and maybe Pepe's on a goal scoring, or maybe Sargent's on a goal scoring run, and they're going to be the hot guy. I want whoever's going to be the hot person at the time. Unfortunately, we have a collection of good forwards, not great forwards. We don't have Harry Kane for England, because if Harry Kane is having a couple of bad weeks and England's playing, guess what? Harry Kane is still playing because we know we can score goals. Whereas one of our players goes through a bad patch, maybe they're not going to be the guy to start. It's phenomenal, though. I will say Haji Wright blew us away. We written him off last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was. We thought maybe he should never touch the U.S. men's national team roster again. And he's come back. Credit to the guy. He's come back. Credit to Pochettino for giving him a chance. Wow, has he taken his chance and run with it? He looked like a great player. I want to talk a little bit more about some of the nuances of his game in a little bit, but I credit to Haji Wright. Really well done.
It was an impressive turnaround. It's a really good point. He was written off by a lot of people, and now under Lampard, just seeing this resurgence. I mean, the last 12 months for him really has been just this uptick in form, which is fantastic for him and for the U.S. team. Brooks, posing the same question to you. The 9 battle. What do you got?
Again, I was never the biggest Haji Wright fan. I was one of them that was like, he should never touch the field again. I thought, he was only there because he was friend. I mean, he grew up and played with Pulisic and the guys, and I thought he was just kind of another buddy they wanted to bring along. And, he's proven a lot of people wrong in that respect. I think Berhalter might have played favorites within that group, but Pochettino's not American. He's South American, and he's not playing favorites. And I think he's pretty much told the guys, you play well, you come back, and you play well with the club, you get called in. So, I like Balogun in the sense that he's more versatile in coming back to the ball and with his off the ball movement. Haji Wright's got two good feet. I think Balogun has 2 better feet, in my opinion. But he's not scoring as many goals for AS Monaco, and Haji Wright's on fire. So you got to play the hot hand. And the question is, in that three back system, because I think they can play a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3 and switch it up when they decide, if they want to. If they want to pair Sargent with Wright, or Pepe and Wright, or or Balogun and Wright, maybe at the same time. I don't know. I mean, it could be very interesting. You mix Pulisic in there, but I was happy that when Pulisic went out injured, there was someone that was going to step up and score goals, because that is our greatest fear, I think, as a country, is if Christian's not playing on the field, how do we score goals or create chances? And usually it's always from our width, but there's never anyone in the box to finish. We really don't have, I would say, heavy hitters and for midfielders that can score goals. Like Weston McKennie gets them from time to time. Juventus. I wouldn't call Adam Morris, he's a box-to-box 8, but I wouldn't say in the final third, he scores a ton of goals. He can from time to time. Tyler Adams is a defensive 6. We really don't have the so-called 10 everyone wants, honestly. So, yeah, for me, I think I'd start with Wright, if we had to start with one at the top. But I like it that there's a battle of 3 to 4 guys, because we've never really had this in a long time or before. So,
no, it's a good problem to have, and Pochettino is going to have the pick of the litter in that sense. Not to say that these guys are world beaters by any chance, like Craig was saying, but it's a good thing. And to your point on Pulisic, I wanted to bring this up before, but if the floor is without Pulisic, and now we are able to make him the ceiling raiser, the U.S. goes in a whole different direction, because I think for a long time he's been the floor, and everybody else has had to. If he's your floor, that's not a good sign. But if he's your ceiling raiser, your X factor, you can go win games in a multitude of different ways instead of him having to break his testicles or whatever again. So it's a good thing. Mila, you've been talking to me a lot about Flo, especially after his game midweek. So I think I know which direction you're heading in, but I'd like to hear a little more.
Yeah, I'll preface with that. I was a big fan of Balogun at Monaco, or not Monaco, but before but on loan at Monaco from Arsenal, not before the transfer. And since then, I've kind of steered away from it, and especially with recency bias, with Haji just literally on fire. He's got 6 more goals in about double the minutes. I think that's ridiculous. World Cup's in a long time, though. So I think to your guys' points, they need to continue, or Haji needs to continue this form. And hopefully we see more from Balogun. Just based off the last game against Tottenham, he had plenty of chances to put it away and just didn't. And to be fair to him, he was against Vicario, who's a good shot stopper. So maybe it was that. But in games where we need someone to be clinical, right now it just seems like Haji has that eye for goal and that dog in him where he's just going to make it happen. I think the toe poke is a good example of that, the most recent one. Just kind of willed it into the net. And we need that. I don't really care if he puts it in with finesse as long as the ball goes in the back of net. So if the form continues, I'm definitely with Haji, and I just started a Coventry City FM save today, so it helps.
Yeah, I have to go against the grain here and be the one guy who takes Flo, because I love Flo more than the next guy as well. I just think that as a technical floor with Flo, it's a lot higher than Haji's. And that's not a slight at Haji by any means, because he's a better goal scorer. But I think around Pulisic, and I think it's going to be Tillman, I like that fit a little bit more than I think I like Haji Wright, especially in matches where we're probably not going to hold possession. Having a 9 that can get the ball, be a little more target 9-esque, with the ability to still run in behind. I think I was waiting for Flo to show me that he could be an in-behind runner, and he was that a lot more this camp than I've ever seen. His movement was a little better. It was a little sharper. Obviously, his finish wasn't great, but that's not... it's weird. I don't feel like that's much of his game. He's that flair player, but I think if you can have that 1-2 punch of him maybe starting, giving you 60, and then Haji coming off the bench and being that in behind, just direct, I'm going to get 5 shots up type of guy, I think that works really well. And then, like you guys were saying, you got Pepe and Sargent too. Like that's... I think Sargent's out for me, unfortunately. I think he's the one player that I can't see him making a camp anymore, and which sucks because he performs just like Haji does in the championship, but he just never Never for the U.S.
Don't forget, he was the leading goal scorer for Norwich last year. He was a player of the season for them as well. I think he may have been one of the players of the championship as well. So
Yeah.
it's only a couple months removed from then. And, he still has time to turn it around. The one thing I'll say about Flo is I think this is the best time for Haji Wright to have stepped up and to shown everybody, because now us on this podcast, on our show, on everybody's going, Haji Wright, Haji Wright, Haji Wright. And Flo Balogun's going to go, well, wait a minute. A year ago, 2 years ago, everybody wanted me. I was the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to pick it up. So now it breeds competition. So I think this is the best thing that could have happened for the U.S. men's national team. And he's going to get in his head and go, next camp, you watch me. And I think this is the timing that we need that to happen. So competition is everything. And that's why coaches always try to bring in 2 players for one position, because it'll make you better.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he does. Yeah, that would be best case scenario is they both are banging in goals, and Poch has a headache of a decision to make every match day.
I love it.
Or find a way to play them both.
Oh, I like it. The 3-4-1-2 or whatever it would be.
Well, an example would be Liverpool this past week, who had to they sat Mo Salah, who's I hate to take it away from U.S. men's national team, but it's kind of referenced, right? Like, so Matt, they sat down Mo Salah because he's having a couple of weeks of horrendous football, and they said, how can we get Ekitike and Isak in the same lineup? Well, they went 4-4-2 and got those 2 forwards up there. Well, there's no difference between putting Haji Wright and Flo Balogun up there as the 2 forwards as well. Have one, maybe Haji Wright checks 2, have Flo Balogun run in behind. I mean, hey man, there's nothing wrong with that. We'll find a way if we need to win games.
When was the last time we had that level of versatility?
Oh, we haven't had it for years and years and years. Ever, if ever.
Ever? Right? Yeah. That's the crop that we're working.
It's a sign of the times, though, I think, too. It's just the technical ability of footballers in this country has just increased rapidly, I think, in the last couple decades. So
that's a whole topic in itself.
Yeah.
and I would love to delve into that one. And I got some pros and cons as to why it hasn't evolved and where it should have. But
we've talked about it too. I'm definitely down to talk about this in depth later on.
We're coming back to do this.
Yeah, we absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's for another day. Hey, all you viewers out there, check back in when we do this again, because we'll bring that. I love it.
Thanks, great. This was a positive camp, Mila. I want to throw this to you, because we gotta have a American biggest winner and biggest loser. I mean, that's just how it works. So let's start positive. Let's go biggest winner. Who was your biggest winner from this October camp?
That's a good question. I think I'm still gonna ride the Haji Wright wave for all the reasons we were saying. He deserves his flowers right now, and if that's gonna keep him banging for the next couple camps before the World Cup in his club games, then it's perfect for us. I know there's some other options to say, and I know Dylan's going to choose one of them, so I won't get into that one at all. But Haji has been really special this season, and hopefully just continues this. I can't really say much more. It's still so early, and there's so much time, but if he continues at this rate, just keep scoring at this clip, then we're in a very good position, and I'm a very happy man.
Craig, your turn. Your biggest winner from this camp.
So I think the obvious one is Haji Wright, but I also like Jamie Sands. I think James Sands coming into the camp, getting some minutes under his belt. He was knocked around a little bit in the Australia game, but he took it and he got back up. I think he showed some fight. I think he is a really good player in there who just hasn't had a real opportunity yet due to some injuries and some moving around. I think he could be a player that is come the summer of 2026, he could be used. So I think he is a winner for coming into the camp and holding his own and getting some minutes. He's kind of the underlying one for me. But obviously Haji Wright's the big one. If I had to pick another one, it may be Aiden Morris. I think his time at Middlesbrough is really paying off. I don't know if a lot of people are paying attention to that, but Aiden Morris, I think could be on the bus to 2026. And I think he could do something later in games when we need someone down and dirty and gritty and creative. So, those are my players who probably came out winners in the camp.
Agreed. Brooks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. My biggest winner is Chris Richards.
Nice.
We knew because he's been starting at Palace, and the coach. We know what he can do. The changing of the guard, and our buddy Nate Janulis has been big on this one in the back line. He does want Tim Ream to eventually fall out, or either down the list, or not be brought. There has to be someone in the back line besides Tyler Adams at the 6 that has to step up and be a leader. And I think that was Chris Richards this time, with his quotes of like, we're in it to win it every game. He's kind of stepping up and being the voice. I think for me, he's one of the biggest winners. I mean, no doubt Haji Wright, no doubt Adam Morris for sure, and then James Sands as well. But he's the biggest one for me. And then I would say if you want to do a 1B for me, and I know it wasn't spectacular, but I think Matt Freese is that comfortable goalkeeper they have back there that they can rely on as Matt Turner tries to. Well, he's done. New England's not playing anymore in the MLS playoffs, so Matt Freese is. So Matt Turner's got to make moves in January camp and in the next ones, but I think it's Matt Freese's job to lose. So, I'm been happy with what Freese has done, and then Chris Richards. So,
yeah, Chris Richards has been the biggest Pochettino culture-setting player in the Federation. I don't think it's even close.
Mm-hmm. He's got.
Go ahead. Sorry, I want to jump in at the end of that. Go ahead.
Just a quick thing. Yeah, I mean, he's just got a big season ahead of him going into this World Cup. I think the Gahey leaving Palace announcement is putting a lot on his shoulders, and just hoping that pressure makes diamonds with that this season. I think he's getting a lot more responsibility, and that can help him in just growth over this next couple of months.
Yep.
I think having Oliver Glasner, the coach at Crystal Palace, and relying on Chris Richards and him saying, listen, you're my guy, along with Gahey, you're starting every game. We rely on you two so heavily that when that's helped him, but Pochettino coming in here has literally said, you're my guy. And he's risen to the occasion. I think when Pulisic went down, wasn't he handed the armband?
Yep.
He became the captain. So I think he's taking that on. I think that's a great shout. A big winner there, and we're only going to see him get better. I do not see him plateauing. He is only going to get better because he's relied on so heavily at Palace. At some point in the next year and a half, I expect him to move to a bigger club, and that is no disrespect to Crystal Palace because they are a big club, but I expect an Arsenal, a Man United, a Liverpool, a Chelsea, someone will come calling for him.
Spain, Barcelona, Real Madrid.
That may be a step too far at the moment, but you never know. You never know.
Okay. Bayern Munich.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It made Nate make our buddy Nate upset because he's not a Munich fan. He likes Stuttgart, but
Yeah, hey, if Chris Richards is playing at Bayern Munich, I am a happy human being.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, my big winner, another culture-setting guy. It's Roldan.
Yeah.
I think the amount of criticism that this guy has gotten this whole year has been ridiculous. He's been one of the best midfielders in the MLS. He's been one of our best midfielders at every single camp. And look, Pochettino loves him to death. All the quotes, everything about him. This guy will be on the World Cup roster. It is going to piss a whole lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
But look, he's effective and he does a good job. And as a culture and a leadership guy, I think that's really where he stakes his claim. You don't have a 26-man roster and only 11 guys play. Realistically, only 15 guys are going to get real shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not having 26 guys play. So there is a section of this group that needs to get these guys ready every single match. That's Roldan for me. He's just a leader. He's a workhorse. And every time he comes into matches or starts matches, he just feels like he's always ready to play. I know that the buffer on that mistake that he had in that Australia game is really sticking to people's minds. But look, everybody made a mistake on that play. He followed it up with 2 assists. I haven't seen any of the midfielders in this camp, not Morris, not Tessman, not even McKennie, have looked as comfortable as he has in the system. And that's a big thing for me, is like, how comfortable do you look as a two-man midfield? Like, I thought Tessman didn't look at his best. I thought it was asking him to be a lot defensively, and he wasn't up for that challenge. So for me, Roldan just feels like a guy just like Luna, who has staked his claim with Pochettino, and he's the biggest winner because he proved it. And I just think he's going to be there. So he's my big winner.
I'm gonna add one thing. I remember back in 2014 when I was at Michigan State. I was my last year, and Michigan State played Washington, and I won. Christian Roldan was in the midfield for that. He was the best player on the field. I had a good feeling he'd be a very good pro player, and that was before I got into scouting. And he's turned it up every year. He shows up. His brother Alex shows up for Seattle. He's been asked to play a lot of positions: right wing back, right back, 8, 6. He's played a lot of different stuff. Probably, I think he's played a little bit as like a pocket winger a little bit for Seattle at times. He's just done everything. And listen, does he start for this team? Probably not, but he's a good guy for Pochettino to question, do I want to bring him off the bench in certain moments, in certain situations? Because he's going to be like Aiden Morris, where he's going to cover ground and defend. But he's got a little bit more going forward than Aiden Morris does, in my opinion. So I do agree with you. I like that. I like you giving him props there, Dill.
Yeah, look, he's not the most talented player in the midfield. And that's not really close or debatable to me. But I know that he works harder than most of these other guys.
Yep.
And like I said, I want to be a smash mouth football team in the most American way possible. Alrighty. Like I said, we had biggest winners, biggest losers. Mila, you want to take this one?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we talked about it a little bit, but Matt Freese kind of just snatched his chain. And with no football to back up your game for the next couple months, it's going to be really hard to get that place back. Anything's possible, though. But I definitely think Freese is going to be going into the next couple of camps with that starting job. And then Matt Turner's definitely going to have to do a lot to convince Pochettino to make that decision and come World Cup time.
Yeah. Brooks, was this also your biggest loser if Freese was one of your biggest winners?
It wasn't for me necessarily. You kind of got to play, you know what I mean? I think when he lost a starting job prior and not getting called in because unfortunately he couldn't move, like him not deciding to move quick enough was his biggest loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately for Matt, like he's a good dude and he just got stuck. And, sometimes you get stuck in situations and you got to make the best of it. And sometimes moves don't happen as quickly as you want them to happen. For me, Tim Weah is one for me that there are moments where he looks brilliant. And then there are times when he just completely hides in the game. And I just want to see more of Tim. I want to see what he did last time in the World Cup in Qatar. Like, I thought he was very, very good. But then there's moments in like CONCACAF Champion or CONCACAF Nations League where he, gets a red card for stupidity, and you know what I'm saying. And I think Tim has it in him to be a very dynamic winger for us to play alongside Pulisic and or be a wing back. But I just want to see more from him. I didn't, there wasn't really a whole lot I saw. At least watching the Australia game and a little bit of the clips from Ecuador. So,
yeah.
Do you think those, just because he played that more of a wingback role in those, do you think that affects it at all?
I mean, Marseille's been using him as like an outside back. I mean, for me, I think that's one of his best positions is as a wingback. I think that is when he has more space going forward and can see the game. That's his best attribute. When he checks inside the half space and tries to turn, that's not his game. You got to play him in behind. And we can't have everyone just running in behind and not coming back to get the ball. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have two wingers that can only run in behind because the guys are going to sit off of them, or when they check into the half space, they're going to come and just push them off the ball, and then we're going to lose it. Like it happened a few times with Wei in the last one against South Korea and Japan. That was South Korea. I noted that. So, but yeah, I mean, I think he has it in him as a wingback. Him and Dest are interesting. You can start Weah sometimes, or you can start Serginho, depending on who the matchup is and who you're playing against. The question is both are a little vulnerable because defensive is not their best attribute as Jedi Robinson. So that's an issue on that side too you're going to have. And that, maybe that's why the 3-back makes sense because guys can shift and get there and you have athletes in the back. And maybe that's why he's switched everything. So, but I don't think the outsider wingback thing made a huge, what was a huge factor in that. I mean, you gotta perform. I always say you have to perform, if you want to be chosen for stuff. So he's got to perform.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if he has someone different from McKinney in that right 10 role.
Yeah.
If the points that you brought up about him being in those half spaces change at all, because I feel like McKinney should be taking up those spaces. He should be more of the overlapping wingback, but he did play with McKinney in both of those games, so I'm interested to see that for sure, just based off what you just mentioned.
Yep.
Alrighty, Craig, your biggest loser.
Brooks, you're so wrong. My God, how dare you pick that?
Oh my God, I know.
Matt Turner is absolutely 100% the biggest loser out of this camp. Listen, what a fall from grace that guy has had, moving from New England and going to Arsenal, being at Arsenal, and everybody going, wow, what a great opportunity. And then, going to Nottingham Forest and then not being able to play there. And then, listen, the guy's had a hell of a fall from grace. I don't begrudge him for moving. I know, Brooks, you and I have argued for a long time about that, about should he have moved, shouldn't he have moved. Anytime Arsenal or a club in the top 20 clubs in the world come calling, you've got to take your shot. Great. He took his shot.
Yeah.
It didn't work. He's found his way back here. He doesn't have soccer for a while now. I do think Matt Freese has cemented his place in this team. Matt Turner will be the backup. That's it. If I had to pick someone else as the biggest loser, I'd pick Patrick Ajimang. I just don't see it working. Look at all the other forwards that took their chance. Look at all the other players that took their opportunity here. He did not take his opportunity. I don't see a spot anywhere for any minutes in any relevant games for him moving forward. So secondary loser there for me, Ajimang.
Yeah, those are both great picks.
Yeah. And going back to the sorry.
No, you're good.
No, I just think going back to the move, Matt Turner was one of those guys in that couple year span where I think a lot of American goalies got shipped off to the Premier League, and I don't think any of them made the cut. Some of them are young, but no one's cemented themselves. I think Zach Steffen was a up close and personal one that I got to see. High expectations, but they couldn't make the cut. And
it's almost like the European teams were trying to look for the next Brad Friedel, Casey Keller, or Guzan, right? Those players who came through in the late 90s, early 2000s, late 2000s, like they're like, hey, the Americans are back with their hands, and it hasn't worked out. It's just hasn't worked out again. You're right.
Just, Gaga Slonina left so early. Like everyone, the hype was going on about this kid. I know from stories from the inside is that the agent had connections at Chelsea, but Chelsea just take everyone and loan everyone out, and now he's been loaned out and he's not even doing well with the loan team he's playing in. I think he's in the Austrian league and they're not doing well. So, and that left room for Chris Brady to come in and then come into the national team to see if he can take the third string spot. So Steffen, unfortunately, he had some minutes, but it just wasn't, our buddy Nate always said he should have stayed at the German team he first got loaned out to. That would have been the best for him. And then, Turner got some matches. It's just, it depends, man. Whatever the player's telling the agent or the agent can't make the move, it's rough sometimes, but you just don't want to get stuck they were. And this is what happens. So
it is. The two biggest losers for me were the two guys that started at the last World Cup. It was Turner and then Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers is one of those players that is always talked about, similar to Sargent, where it's like, why isn't this guy playing? Why can't he get minutes? For multiple managers now to tell me, I don't think he's that good, especially when Miles Robinson is starting over you in two of these games. It's not a good sign. He got 0 PT. I don't know if he had a knock or whatever, but look, he starts for Celtic every week. He's been there for a while. He started for us at a World Cup. And for the manager in a 3-back, he's got 3 opportunities to make this team, to tell me that he doesn't clearly value him at all is super concerning, because we're going to get into this next portion where we talk about what we want to see going forward, like in the next camp. The fact that one of our most talented or highly known European players isn't getting PT he's got to be the biggest loser for me, because he's got 3 opportunities, like I said, and the right center back spot. It makes sense. He plays right center back for Celtic, and he can't get a look, can't get a sniff over Miles Robinson.
Not even 5 minutes on a field to end a game to see
He's
how
better
you
than
collaborate.
McKenzie. You know what I'm saying? I don't rate McKenzie very high.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm in agreement there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll push it into that next section. We talked about our optimism for the next 2, but I kind of want to take the jump into what do we want to see in these next camp and in this next November slate, which is coming up in literally a couple weeks here. For me, it's figuring out who's going to be alongside Richards. I don't think you can continue to play around with the back 3 and not figure it out at some point. And then also figuring out who's going to partner Tyler Adams.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
I mean,
why isn't Joe Scally getting call-ups? I mean, he feels like the
Poch
perfect
doesn't
right
like
center
him.
back.
I feel like
Yeah.
it has to be that.
He's good in a 3-back. I don't think he's a good natural outside back. but he's
Agreed.
in a 3-back. Yeah.
So
With Richards, though, I've seen people talking about him playing in the center back versus one of those wide center backs.
Yeah.
So what do you guys prefer in that? Because I do think that is a good talking point.
I want a leader and I want a ball aerial guy. He doesn't, and he's good on the ball, which is a plus, but that center guy, I want him tracking guys in the midfield, picking off passes, winning balls in the air, covering ground for guys. That's what I want out of my center back in the 3.
Yep.
So
The one thing that the couple of things he brings is he's really quick. He is really quick. The Ecuador goal, he was millimeters away. He got turned in midfield and he still caught up to the guy and he was millimeters away. I think Freeze may have been a little bit out of his spacing was off. But anyway, he reads the game very well. He's able to step in front of players. He's big. He's strong. He can get up for headers. That's what I want my center back to do. I want him to get up. I want him to bully the center forward. Pretend he's playing against Holland. What's he doing? He's getting up and he's winning headers over him when the ball gets looped up top. He's able to beat him to the ball, read the game. So that's what I want, and I think he is the perfect guy in that center of that 3. That's going to be, I think he is almost key as Christian Pulisic for me in 2026.
yeah, he needs to be our version of the Netherlands Virgil van Dijk for me. That's what he needs to be in the back line.
yeah, I want him center frame as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I think like Max Lacroix as his center pack partner for Palace, like that's great because he's just the speed demon. He's faster than Richards, which is crazy. But Richards is, no slouch, like Craig was saying. He's got speed. I think center frame, he makes a lot of sense. It's going to take some adjustment, like to switch from being that first goal against Ecuador definitely sticks in my mind of like, okay, you just don't know positionally like exactly where you're supposed to be here, but that comes with time. And also I think if he just has Tyler Adams there, that also helps because Tessman was so out of position on that transition play and he was supposed to be the 6th that I'm like, okay, maybe there's somebody else that could be helping him there. Ream was also trailing the play.
Yep.
So I think center back for me as well.
It's interesting. I lean a little more towards the wide just because for all the traits that you guys just mentioned, he's quick, he's good on the ball, he can kind of help us progress in that sense.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the leadership stuff that we've been harping on all pod, I think you guys are right. He does need to be in that center of the park. So, nice.
Cool. So we are soccer boys. What do you guys want to see from this next camp?
You want to go, Craig, or me?
I'll take it. Sure.
Okay.
All right. So next camp, next 2 games, I want them to play exactly the way they just came out of these 2 games. Consistency of play, consistency with players, consistency with formation. We're not messing around anymore. The only thing we're doing is swapping a player out here or there in case a Pulisic's injured, in case a Richards is injured. Start one of the games like it's the first World Cup game, and then the other game, swap a couple of players here and there, but I'm mostly interested the dog in the fight. I want to see us go in there and bite. I want to go in there and see us work. Like Chris Richards said, I don't care if there's a friendly. There's no such thing as a friendly anymore. We step on the field, we want to win. That's what I want to see. And I want to see that because that means the staff, the players, everybody's in tune. And I don't want to see anybody, whining about playing time or anything like that, because then something's off. But I really think we're going to have 2 good games, win or lose. We're going to see fight. We're going to see some nice stylistic play. We're going to see the 3-back. We're going to see the majority of the players who just played in the last 2 games, Ecuador, Australia. I think, and that'll be it. I'll be happy.
All right, here we go. This is going to be interesting. It always is for me. I want to see a wingback of Jedi and Weston McKennie on the other side, because he's played wingback at Juventus. He's a big boy that can defend, and he's not afraid to get physical. And I think that's what you're going to have to find when you're going to play against teams in the World Cup. Chris, obviously Richards as the center of the 3. The question is, who are the technical center backs we have left? I don't love a McKenzie, but at least he can get forward a little more. Who are the guys next to him that can, and that's why I'm saying, like, everyone doesn't want Ream, but he can pass the ball and he's comfortable on the ball. So, you know what I mean? But a negative is he's older, he's slower, and he's gotten beat. So who are the 2 other guys to pair with Richards? And then, like Craig said, I love to see Sands and Adams in the midfield, just like this bully, bruising defensive team that can get forward. It would be interesting, honestly, if you saw those wing backs, Richards in the center, Sands, and if Adams is healthy to play as the 2 holding, and then Haji Wright and Balogun as 3-5-2 we got going on. You know what I'm saying? And maybe Ada Morris as the 10, or they rotate all the time. I don't know what we can do, but it'd be interesting just to, or Pulisic as the 10. I like that in there too. But I still think there's one opportunity in November to to mess around with stuff a little bit, not so much where it's crazy, but where you can do small things and see how it works.
Yeah, I agree. Mila,
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to see? You want to see more of the same?
More of the same. I want to see more Luna, I think. And I know that might be a little bit of a weird one right now, but he's so good. He's just he makes stuff out of nothing, and I think we need that in this team. I'm not necessarily sure how he's gonna fit into the squad, more so out of possession than in possession, but I think he's so class, and would love for him to find that consistency in the squad and just be an option for us, whether it be off the bench or starting.
Yeah. The Weston point is a really good one. I didn't love him as the right 10. I know why he was playing there. It was as a press trigger.
Yes.
But I didn't love it. I want him deeper because that's where his best abilities come out. He's got a great long ball on him. And
yes.
He showed that with flow.
Yep.
So
he can throw the ball too.
Yeah.
He can throw the ball. Yeah.
So I think figuring out where his best position is obviously going to help. And then if he's not playing at that wingback position, I kind of want to see him next to Tyler Adams in the 2. Just because, like I said, nobody blew me away in the 2, but also Sans and Adams as this combative double 6. That also sounds like a really good game plan, because we're gonna go. Who do we play? Uruguay and
Paraguay. Yep. And there's gonna be physical. They're gonna be physical. They're gonna play dark arts. I mean, let the Bash brothers go and see what they make of.
I love when the USMNT plays like just this US soccer style of play. It's great.
We're taking the American part into account.
Yeah. Well, talking about big American soccer players, the biggest news of today is Lionel Messi just extended his contract with Inter Miami to be a professional soccer player in the US till he is 41 years old.
Jeez.
How crazy is that? What timeline are we in that one of the greatest players to ever play this sport has essentially signed the last portion of his career where he absolutely could be playing in Europe and said, you know what, I'd rather be here in the US. I'd rather be with Beckham's squad. I'd rather be the face of a league in America, of all places. What do you guys think of this extension? How are you feeling on it? Do you think this is like a revolutionized day in U.S. soccer, or are you a little more cold on this?
Brooks, go ahead.
Well, I think it's a great thing that he wants to stay. I think that shows commitment to a league. Whether he sees growth or he sees that he's a face of something. I'm curious if the extension, does MLS promise him something like he did Beckham, maybe not a franchise, but some type of revenue, or it's not that he needs any more money, you know what I mean? But it's good to see him. It's going to draw fans in the stands. It's going to give ratings. The question I have is, when we talked about MLS Cup on Sunday Night Show, can he win it? He needs other players around him. He can't just do it himself. He can get him so far doing it himself, but he can't go alone on this. And I think with Busquets retiring and Alba retiring, they'll bring in some more of his friends, and they'll do well. But Beckham wants to build something in Miami where they're dominant, like LA Galaxy was back in the day, and LAFC and such. So it's good. I like the decision. 41. God bless him. I know Craig and the guys ripped me on this, that I thought he was going to struggle a bit with the speed, but all right, he'll be fine. If you give some people around him, he'll be fine. And, he may not be able to do some things, but he'll still be able to do magical things with that left foot. So.
Yep. He is the greatest player that has ever played the sport, and no one will ever convince me otherwise. The man is an absolute magician. What he did in Europe was phenomenal. What he's doing here at the age of 38 is absolutely incredible against athletes who are half his age. He's played 82 games for Inter Miami. He scored 71 goals and had 37 assists. The man is just absolutely dominating. As you said, Brooks, he doesn't need any more money. Everybody wants more money. Trust me, I get that. But he doesn't need it. He could go off and earn money anywhere else doing anything else. I absolutely love the fact that he signed up to play, because it means he's happy, his family's happy, but he just wants to continue playing the game he loves. Mm-hmm. When you guys get to my age, you realize you don't have a lot of opportunity anymore to play. And when you do, and you find something you enjoy and you do it as long as you can. He stayed healthy. The amount of games he's played this year is incredible. I think Inter Miami and MLS have done a phenomenal job, absolutely phenomenal job, bringing him here and now getting him to extend for another 3 years. This is just opened up MLS to the world. I personally have watched probably 5 times as many games as I would have, because he's in a league. I want to watch every game I can when he's playing. I walk through a soccer tournament. I walk through a soccer facility, wherever it is. Kids have jerseys on with Inter Miami and Messi. He is selling the brand. He's a great human being. He doesn't get in trouble. He doesn't do stupid things or say stupid things. There could not be a better face for the league, for the world to see. Well done, MLS. Well done, Inter Miami. I love it for many reasons, as I just said.
Agreed. Mila, obviously we're Galaxy fans, so
that's what I was gonna say. As a fan of the MLS, you don't really like to see this, but then I thought, I think Reguilon's set to be the takeover for Alba.
Yeah.
So that gives me a little hope. I think Messi's friends are getting a little too old to play footy with him anymore. Which is perfect. So if they don't have some sketchy stuff running the league on that coast, then I don't really mind. Like you guys are saying, he's a perfect spokesperson. I saw him in Tokyo at a Kobe Inter Miami friendly, and just the draw and the effect he has on international fans alone is insane.
Yep.
And if he's going to be the face of the league, then it's perfect. If he's going to have people in every city and town around the world chanting his name, and he's the guy that is representing the MLS, then we're in a great position. And we can only hope that he continues to take care of his body and just continues to find a way to play at a top level. Because even if it's 15 minutes, he's the best on the pitch.
Yep. Dylan, I know you want to chime in, but I got when you're done. I got one more.
No,
I'll let you go. I got one more
thing.
Me. You sure?
Yeah, go ahead before me. I'm cool.
People are all very not worried. They're all wondering why 3 years? Why not 2 years? 3 years, because in the third in 2027, the league aiming for 2027. I'm sorry, 2028 is when they're going to go and mirror the European League, the schedule. So they're hoping he can have his third and final year in the fall and spring, right? So it's the European mirrored schedule. So I think a lot of people are like 3 years, man, he's going to be just shy of 42. What's going on? That'll be really old. That's why. One, he's opening up the brand new stadium, right? As you saw with the picture you had there, he's home into the new Freedom Park, whatever it is. But that long so that he can see the schedule change and people will come on board. So Europeans and everybody will be watching him during the same, and they'll be able to compete. Without him, if they move to that schedule, without him, less eyeballs, it may not work out so well. But with him, more eyeballs for everybody, it proves that it was a good job and a good idea to move it forward. So just want to throw that in there.
No, that's a great point. It really matters to the grand scheme of things and what his importance to soccer here in the U.S. is, because the eyeballs are now here. It's a bigger move than when Ronaldo went to Saudi, and that was a big move. Like everyone's like, oh wow, he's going to Saudi, like, and Messi has trumped that. And I'm a big Ronaldo guy because he played for United and all that stuff. But Messi's impact, I can't even begin to debate it. It is so important. And like you said, it'd be one thing if he was Thierry Henrying it, where it was like, like he's all right, but 29 league goals, 16 assists, and we're gonna. I think at some point on our show we'll debate like who the MLS MVP is, and I'm probably gonna give it to Dryers. But like, come on, this is like LeBron in the in the mid 2010s, where you're just like, well, LeBron's the best player, but we got to give it to somebody else. Like Messi's clearly the best player. I've seen him in person. It is a joy to watch, and for all the reasons you guys say, it's phenomenal. It's great for the sport. It's great for the U.S. A World Cup here, where now we don't have this looming thing of Messi might go somewhere else afterwards. Huge, because he will go from playing a couple games to World Cup to playing right back in Miami right afterwards, and that's huge.
So one thing I'll finish with is this 3-year extension also makes it interesting. What does Lewandowski do? Does he ask, do some other people come in and play? Unfortunately, I don't think Ronaldo will ever get here. Sorry, Dylan. I don't know if he'll ever come. But, maybe your Galaxy get Lewandowski at some point.
We have been talking about this especially quite a lot.
Big fans of the guy.
But it makes it interesting. Like some of those guys, and maybe they get some guys before they are in their last 3 years of their career that want to come over because of Messi. It makes it interesting that he's willing to commit to this because he sees something in it. So that could speak to a lot of players in the long run. So that's the other interesting part of this.
Agreed. I mean, look, Son probably doesn't come here if he's not here.
I was just about to bring up Son.
Go ahead.
You're a competitor.
No. I mean, you said exactly what I was going to say. But he's a big cultural impact, and it's a result of Messi being in the league. So it's not just his impact alone that he brings for us, but the fact that he can bring in other big names too that have such a big impact around the world, I think is fantastic for the MLS.
Yeah. Generational wealth can be made here. There's reasons why these guys are making the moves. Like Son in LA with a giant Korean market. You kidding me? He's rolling in it.
Yeah. And I think the league's just up.
Second highest selling jersey, I think, behind Messi. Or did he take over Messi?
He may have taken over. I really don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, Messi's might be a little.
MLS is like, please, more of those players. Like, beside, different, especially different parts of the country and everything in the world. That
it's huge.
Yeah,
it's the craziest league in the entire world. We love talking about it, but it's great. And as a Galaxy fan, the perfect supervillain to root against. All right. Well, I think I'm good to end it here. Are you guys good to end it here?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We'll give you guys the floor here to plug all of your stuff one more time, and then we will roll on out.
Go ahead, Greg.
All right. Well, thank you guys. But listen, Dylan, Mila, very much appreciate you guys having us on. We love watching you guys. We love the collaborations we've done here. It means the world to us. You've invited us on. We're going to get you back on our show. We're going to do some more work. Maybe we'll have a special on the Galaxy. I don't know. We'll do some stuff. But for anybody who wants to visit our stuff, we're on every single platform. We are soccer. We go live 9 o'clock Eastern every Sunday night talking about everything and anything and everything soccer. So if there's little kids soccer that's causing a fuss in the world, we're talking about it. Whether it's Premier League, Champions League, World Cup, we're talking about it. We love it. Anything to push this game, the sport forward. You know, this isn't our full-time job. We just love talking about this beautiful, beautiful game.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And with that, from us at COC Network and from you guys at We Are Soccer, this has been our USMNT October Camp review, and we will see you guys in the next one.